Are you looking for the best VR headset? In this video we will look at some of the 6 best VR headset on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. PlayStation VR 2. PSVR 2's list of impressive tech specs adds up to a highly cohesive VR package. This is a headset that absolutely oozes value for money, especially when you add up the costs of VR gaming on a PC. A high-end PC that will make the most of the other VR powerhouses on this list will likely set you back more than $1,000. Add in the $1,000 or so you'll spend on one of those headsets alone, and you've got quite the investment. Meanwhile, a PS5 will set you back around $500, with PSVR 2 setting you back $549. For that amount, you get an incredible VR platform and a growing number of must-play games. Design: the aesthetics of PSVR 2 are a beautiful evolution of Sony's first visor. Subtly rounded corners and camera placement on the corners of the headset's front panel make it look futuristic. The raised headband design makes it feel lighter than the original as well, although can put some uncomfortable pressure on your noggin. Features: for your money, you get a slew of impressive features that ground you in VR experiences like never before. Haptic feedback in the excellent VR2 Sense controllers, the headband, and sunlight trigger resistance. These features arguably feel more at home in VR than they do on the DualSense. The OLED panel looks astounding whether you're fully immersed in the 110-degree FOV, or whether you're playing non-VR content in cinematic mode. The clever integrations thanks to really solid eye tracking and foveated rendering will have your jaw continually hitting the floor too. Number 2. HTC Vive Pro 2. If you're after the best VR headset for PC gaming money can buy, we'd point you in the direction of the HTC Vive Pro 2. This is certainly a big kid's toy, coming in at $800 for the headset alone, without taking the extra required accessories and high-end PC into account. However, for specialists and budget-busting enthusiasts, the HTC Vive Pro 2's 4896 by 2448 resolution, pinpoint motion tracking, and Steam VR integrations make it a must-see. Design and features: that 4896 by 2448 pixel resolution sits at the very top of the current market, offering up super clean visuals that you won't find on cheaper headsets. You are tethered to a PC here, and that's going to need to be capable of the heavy lifting required for that visual fidelity. Combine that incredible resolution with the gargantuan 120 degrees field of view and refresh rate of up to 120 Hz, and you're onto a high-end headset. Everything encasing all that tech is also incredibly premium. We love the futuristic external aesthetic, but not as much as the lightweight design. Number 3. Meta Quest 2. The Meta Quest 2 is still the best value VR headset on the market for the majority of players, even if it's staring down the barrel of the Quest 3's launch. This remains one of the cheapest mid-range VR options out there, so if you're looking for no-fuss VR on a budget, this is just the headset for you. Design and features: while we were a little disappointed to find the Oculus Quest 2 felt a little cheaper than its predecessor, it's actually very comfortable to wear, and there are plenty of great Meta Quest 2 accessories if you want the perfect feel for you. The Quest 2 is lighter than most other headsets on the market, with a weight of 503 g. The resolution of 3664 by 1920 pixel may not be all that impressive compared to newer headsets, or ones that can utilize gaming PC power, but for a standalone this works just brilliantly. Similarly, 100 degrees of FOV is more than enough for something of this price. You won't need to sustain your disbelief with specs like these. Number 4. Valve Index. The Valve Index is one of the go-to VR choices for PC gamers, and for good reason. This is a total luxury device that will match anyone who has a beefy gaming PC already. It isn't pricey though, and arguably these days you can get better all-round performance for less cash. Design and features. There are a few features of the Valve Index that we need to get out of the way right at the start. First up is that finger tracking system. Rather than relying on per-controller tracking, the Valve Index has stepped where no VR headset has gone before, adding sensors for each individual finger via a touch-sensitive panel. The second is a 120 Hz refresh rate that will cover for a slightly lower resolution by allowing games to slide across the screen without a hint of a flicker. Performance. The Valve Index is a VR headset for those fully invested in the PC gaming space, the specialists that already have the PC humming away in the corner and are looking to put it to the test. While the headset itself costs £499/459, the full kit will set you back $999/919. That's cheaper than the full price of the HTC Vive Pro 2 and all of its gadgets, though you're favoring tracking over resolution here. With the whole of Steam behind it, you'd be hard-pressed to be bored in this headset's list of virtual worlds. However, it is worth noting that fewer Steam titles can take full advantage of these unique tracking features, so you're certainly proofing yourself for the future rather than enjoying better visuals in every game. Number 5. HTC Vive Cosmos Elite. If the HTC Vive Pro 2, or indeed the Valve Index, looks a little pricey, the Vive Cosmos Elite system might be the best VR headset for those looking for something mid-range. HTC launched its Cosmos headset to very little fanfare a few years ago, and on its own, the headset sits as a fully modular system that you can upgrade with a different faceplate and SteamVR tracking bases as you please. However, its final form is the Vive Cosmos Elite, making this iteration the best VR headset in its line. Design and features. While the resolution is behind the much cheaper Oculus Quest 2, the full Cosmos Elite system will do over $800 worth of damage. There's enough power in that 2880 by 1700 display to keep up with the premium Valve Index system. That means no screen door effect and a clear display, supported by a 90 Hz refresh rate. If you're after a full suite of tracking sensors, then this is the most affordable option available to you right now, and it still does a solid job of rendering everything in high-quality graphics. Number 6. HP Reverb G2. Not many have the HP Reverb G2 on their shopping list, but HP does have a sleeper hit on its hands with its $600 VR headset. It's worth noting that this is much easier to find in the US, and you'll likely be limited to special editions running over £600 if you're browsing in the UK. Design and features, with heavy emphasis placed on resolution, but some nice quality of life features baked in. How has nobody else thought of having the display flip up so you can see your surroundings? There's plenty to love here, even if overall this set doesn't quite beat out some of the higher options on this list. More than that though, this is a headset that looks like something taken straight out of the Batcave. You'd also be forgiven for thinking it was a Valve Index, as the two have very similar aesthetics. Essentially, if you want a cheaper route into high-end PC VR, this might be your best bet. Performance. You won't need any external tracking sensors here. The HP Reverb G2 takes care of all of that itself with cameras. Plus, there's very little setup to get out of the way. This is a Windows headset through and through, so connecting to your PC is as simple as plugging it in and letting Windows 10 or 11 complete your installations and software tweaks. While tracking a little behind Oculus in its value offering, the HP Reverb G2 is a solid buy for any PC enthusiasts who don't want to have to kit out their home to step into a virtual world.